Hi ladies, it's me, Jennifer Jayde. I just wanted to hop in here live. I have just a few minutes, and I've been getting some questions lately, and coming from multiple people, so I thought, why not just hop on a live and answer them all at once? That way, anyone that's been asking or wondering can hear the answer, as well as anyone else that might be curious. So I have just about 20 minutes, I think. So I'm going to try and get through 3 questions that have really been coming up and see if I can get through them in the time that I have, because Lord knows I like to go into detail. So let's go with the first question. And the person that I remember getting this from first was Jilly. And Jilly says, how was the full day meditation that you did? So recently I did a full day meditation. And I've never meditated more than 20 minutes at a time, give or take. So I decided, I was invited by the Transcendental Meditation chapter down here in San Diego to go to this full day event. So I went, and I kind of felt like, I remember asking my husband, I'm like, do you think anyone's gonna like me? Like, just those like silly feelings of going to a new school and wondering if you're gonna make any friends. Like, that's kind of how I was feeling, just a little bit nervous. I didn't know anyone else that was going. I didn't know, I haven't been practicing TM for that long, just since the end of last year. I didn't know what to expect. I've never meditated for more than 20 minutes, so I thought, am I going to be bad at this, or am I not going to be able to do it? And I had all those fears, which I've of course become accustomed to facing now, just doing it again and again and again. So I knew they were normal, and I knew they weren't going to stop me. And I didn't try to fight them or make myself wrong for feeling them. I just went. And I loved it. I loved the full day meditation. It was a little different than I expected. We weren't just sitting there meditating for the entire day and night. We actually did it in, what did they call? Series, or darn it, I can't remember now, but it was sort of this series of resting for 15 minutes, and then we would go into another room and do yoga, these certain yoga poses and breathing exercises. Then we would go into our meditation, and we would do that for 20 minutes, followed by another 15 minutes of rest. Then we would do something, whether it was lunchtime or we do another round. I think it was called a round. And so we did this kind of alternating back and forth through the day. We stopped for lunch. I had a beautiful conversation with a couple of the other ladies that were there, went for a great walk in the sunshine, went back, did another couple of rounds, learned a little bit more about transcendental meditation, how it works on a scientific level, both spiritual and scientifically, which was amazing. And it was a really beautiful, rejuvenating, soul refreshing day. So Jilly, to answer your question, it was amazing. I would totally do it again. And update, I'm actually really feeling called to do a silent meditation now. I'd really love to experience what happens when there's 0 distractions, 0 noise, 0 conversations, 0, taking in anything of the senses, well, as little as possible, and really just getting connected to your own inner thoughts, releasing things you need to let go of, and seeing what comes up. So now I'm looking for a silent meditation suggestion. If any of you have experienced silent meditation before, if you've heard of any retreats, I'm going to be up in British Columbia for the summer. So anything around there would be cool. Of course, I'm willing and open to travel, as always. But I'd love to do a silent meditation next in British Columbia somewhere. Okay, hope that answers your question, Jilly. I have another one. This is from Talia. Love Talia. Hi, Talia, if you're watching. And Talia wrote, hi, Jen. I'm wondering if you could share the most valuable moves you've made as a business coach. What were the most valuable seminars, decisions, events, books, networking, etc. that you have made along the way? I thought this was a brilliant question. And I didn't rehearse any of these responses, so I'm just kind of going off the cuff and what comes up first. So what's coming up for me to share is to describe my point by first going back to my photography business. When I was starting my photography business, And I was, of course, lacking confidence as a photographer. I saw all these other photographers around me that had gone to school for photography, or, you know, graduated from, you know, this great mentorship with someone, or had already started their business and had all these great clients and were so talented already and already knew what they were doing, already knew everything, that I felt I had this mountain still yet to learn. And what I tried to do inadvertently, I didn't realize I was doing this, but I tried to buy my confidence by purchasing more gear, more lenses. I thought that the more conferences and workshops and things that I went to, the better photographer it would make me. And to an extent, yeah, that did help. Not that I wouldn't say the equipment. It's funny, photographers, if you're watching, you know, maybe it's not always the new lens that you need. Maybe it's just to really look inside and really see if you're lacking in some confidence, or where you could really do some boosting in your self-worth, self-value. Anyways, getting back to it. So to a degree, yes, of course, educate yourself, learn from the best, get mentors. If someone really stands out to you as someone who's living and breathing your dream, if you can get close to them and really learn what their first few steps were, or what really helped them, just as you're doing now, that's brilliant. But there came a point where I was using education, training, workshops, books as an excuse, as procrastination for actually just doing the damn thing. What I really needed to do, what was really going to boost my confidence, was working with clients, practicing, experiencing, doing, just jumping in with both feet. Lack of confidence, lack of experience, all of it, just jumping in and being like, okay, I'm here, like, start like treading water and figure it out as I go. That was my biggest confidence booster. So that's, you know, related to my photography business, moving into my coaching business, as you asked. For me, what stands out, number one, was hiring the person who really stood out to me as someone who was living and breathing the work that I wanted to do in the world, and was really successful with doing it, and doing it in a way that felt aligned for her and powerful for her, and really just checking in with my gut and my soul and knowing that she was my person. This was my person. And the price tag was astronomical for me. It was more than I had ever spent on a car. But when I really tuned in deeper than my fear, deeper than the wavy surface of water, where it's just like fears and anxiety and worry, deeper than that, I knew this was my person. So number one, I would say for me, was hiring a mentor, hiring my own business coach. And I worked with her for over a year. It was amazing and very, very powerful for the growth of myself and my business. What's coming up also to mention is that I did work with a life coach for 6 months prior to hiring my business coach. That wasn't really intentional. When I hired my life coach, I didn't know that I was going to be going into coaching. I didn't know that I was going to be leaving photography and doing this kind of work. I just knew that I felt lost and I felt discontent, and I felt like I was spinning my wheels in my life, and I didn't know why. And I thought, maybe I'm ungrateful. Maybe I need to learn how to, you know, look around and be more grateful for the life I have and just be more happy, and trying to force myself to feel things that I just wasn't feeling. So I started working with a life coach, and week after week, it was one of the most powerful experiences of my life to date, was working with this life coach week after week and just uncovering weeds and obstacles and barriers and tapes that were playing on repeat since I was a kid, and not even really noticing them anymore, because, you know, when you hear a song so many times, you hear something so many times, you just don't even notice it anymore. So really digging those weeds out of my subconscious mind, that was really, really powerful for me. And I am just so thankful every day that I took the time to work on me and myself and my upper limit issues and my self-conscious limiting beliefs before moving into starting a business. Is there anything else I want to share on that? I mean, I love growing. I love expansion. For me, I mean, I'll go to a conference or a workshop if it resonates with me, but I'm not so much leaning on them anymore to help me build my self-confidence or my self-esteem anymore. So if it's around, if it's convenient, if I think, you know, some friends are going, it'd be great to see them, I'll go. But I'm not searching out conferences and workshops and things anymore, because I know that for me to feel more confident in what I'm doing, I need to work on me from the inside out. And I need to just practice what I'm doing, practice what I'm doing, getting uncomfortable, working with clients, creating new things, doing things I've never done before. That's what's going to increase my confidence, and working on my personal growth, whether that is with a one-on-one coach or a life coach, or practicing meditation regularly. Books, of course I love books. I think I've already shared with you, Talia, all my favorites. But for anyone watching, I think if you know me and you're connected with me, you know that I love Jen Sincero's You're a Badass. Love it. Love The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. Very, very instrumental book for me in really learning about the voices going on in my head, and which are which, and which ones are serving me and which ones are not, which ones are real, which ones are not, and really taking my power back in not being a victim or succumbing to these thoughts and beliefs that are trying to hold me back. Anyways, Untethered Soul was very, very powerful. Also, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, learning and becoming aware of where we're self-limiting ourselves, or upper limiting ourselves, as he calls it. I did not realize how much I was upper limiting myself, you know, otherwise known as self-sabotage. So that was a really powerful book. That's The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And I'm feeling like there's one more. Oh yes, gosh, I could go on for days about books, but The Divine Law of Compensation by Marianne Williamson. So anyone even considering starting a business, or if you've already started a business, I'm trying to talk fast, I'm sorry, I'm stumbling. I have so much information I want to give. Us as women, I don't want to generalize every single woman in the world, of course, but we've been really taught, it's really in our innate nature to be the givers, the caregivers, the nurturers, and to put everyone else ahead of ourselves. And, you know, if we have any spiritual side or spiritual connection, we almost feel like we should always be giving of ourselves more and more and more. And to take anything back is almost selfish. You know, to receive compliments might mean that you're arrogant. To receive, for someone else to pay for your meals, you might be taking from their wallet, or maybe it means you're not an independent woman if someone else is paying for you. Or and receiving compensation for your services can be a really, you know, there can be a lot of work we need to do around that as women. So one of the biggest first moves for opening me up to receiving compensation for what I do and what I love to do was reading or listening to on Audible. I love the Audible app, lifesaver. The Divine Law of Compensation by Marianne Williamson. So those are my biggest books. Of course, Wayne Dyer. You know, Talia knows that I am obsessed with Wayne Dyer. Any Wayne Dyer book is incredible. I love the book Inspiration by Dr. Wayne Dyer. That helped me really connect with what my purpose was, or at least started giving me clues, or understanding when clues were being given to me. So those are my favorite books. Conferences and seminars. I think they're good to go to. I think if you're kind of getting the green lights, like it's on a date that works for you and you can afford it and it's going to be a great experience and your soul is telling you to go, then go. But what I'm saying is, don't actively feel like you must attend all these seminars and workshops in order to live out your purpose and create a successful business. I think if they're there and it feels good to go, go, but you don't have to go out of your way to seek all these things out, because I believe you already have everything you need to be successful and to get started. So, love that. Loved working with a one-on-one coach. It was extremely powerful for me. So those are the things that really helped me get started, and I hope that serves you and answers your question, Talia. Okay, one more. I don't know what time it is. There's no clock. I'm just going to keep going till my dog barks. That's how I know I got to go. Okay, so this one I'm not going to mention the name. It's quite a personal question, and I just felt like maybe I would leave this person's name out of it. But It says, Jen, I'm finding myself envious of you. I follow your progress. I work out because my goal is to look like you, more so to have the body I want and mental clarity. I have a great husband and kids, but I'm tired and stressed. I'm trying to keep happy, but every time I figure something out, it all falls apart. We're so behind on everything, especially our bills. It's so hard. My question is, how are you floating above the clouds? How did you become as successful as you are? Okay. So I've already had a conversation with that person personally, but I just thought it was such an open, vulnerable question, and I thought, I bet she's not the only one that has thought that to herself before. And again, I didn't practice these responses, but there is something that's coming up for me to share, and number one is conscious language. Conscious language. So being aware of the words that you're speaking to yourself and the words that you are, whether you're saying them out loud or in your head. Oh, thank you so much, guys, for all the hearts. It's so amazing. Hi, Giselle. I see you. Thank you. So much love to you. If you're saying to yourself, life is so hard. Every time I figure something out, 10 things fall apart. I can never get ahead. I'm always struggling. If this is the story that you've got, it's just the same as a mantra. This is your mantra. And you hear so much about mantras and affirmations because they work. And they work not just on a woo-woo level, but in a subconscious mind level. So I train a lot of my clients to actually create a recording, repeat it 8 times into their iPhone, and listen to it every single morning of the life that they want to have, the way that they want to feel every day, the money that they want to bring into their business and in their life that month, whatever their goals are, whatever their desires are, whatever their core desired feelings are, put it in a paragraph and record it into your phone, the voice recorder of your phone, and listen to it every single morning, every day, every morning, and repeat that 8 times. When you're recording it, repeat it 8 times. 8 is a magic number. 8 is like, if you think about your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, the conscious mind, if you think of a glacier, is just like the top 20%. It's just the little tip of the iceberg at the top, and we feel like we're operating on a conscious level, you know? We feel like we're in control, but really our subconscious is in control. The 80% below the surface is what's in control. So when we say to ourselves, life is so hard, I have such bad luck, nothing ever turns out for me. When you repeat things, repetition is one of the most powerful ways to train your subconscious mind. So if if what you're training your subconscious mind is to believe that life is hard, life is a struggle, you'll never get ahead, I'm always taking 1 step forward, 2 steps back. This is the reality that you're going to create. So one way that this was described to me was, well, not only on the scientific level, like it is proven, repetition, subconscious mind, and us, creating our reality based on our subconscious beliefs. So it's not what we want, it's what we believe, right? Does that land? It's not what we want, it's what we believe. Okay. I was visiting a healer at the end of last year, and after she did her healing work, which was amazing, you can reach out to me if you want her name, she and I had a conversation, and she used to be a teacher for most of her life, like until she retired, so she was really great at explaining. And she said, Jen, you know what? We are always in control of our thoughts, always. Many of us let our thoughts go on autopilot, and we don't take control of our thoughts, we just let them happen to us. But really, at any moment, you can shift your thoughts. You are in control all the time. And with our thought creates a feeling. So a thought creates a feeling, and a feeling is something we have, up and down our whole body, and a feeling will actually emanate from us out into the space around us and in our aura around us. And she said the universe doesn't react to your conscious, I want this, I want that, you know, I want more money, I want this car, I want. It responds to the energy that you're putting out, the feeling that you're putting out. So when you have a thought and it turns into a feeling and it goes out into your aura, the universe is going to communicate with you through your aura, through the energy that you're putting out. And if you're putting out lack, scarcity, struggle, adversity, any of these things, the universe is going to say, oh, you know, Jen chose these thoughts. I'm not going to question her. I love Jennifer. I'm going to give her exactly what she wants. So let's give her more of what she wants, what she's choosing to think about. Fear, struggle, adversity, lack. The universe loves you so much, it's going to give you exactly what you are putting out there. So it's not going to be in an instant. So don't just think for, okay, I'm going to have this thought, this happy, abundant thought for a minute. I'm going to have this happy, abundant energy for a minute. Oh, where's my abundance? No, it's over time and consistency and really just releasing the need to control the outcome. Release the need to control the outcome and living in trust. Really living in trust. Anyways, coming back to the question, how did I do this in my life? How did I create this in my life? I'm going back to, I'm being taken back to this workshop. It's funny because Lee was talking about workshops. So maybe this is one that's worth checking out. And I think one of the girls in our group actually offers these in Victoria, where Talia lives. It was a Danielle Laporte workshop. It was called Desire Mapping. And I got to understand through that 2-day weekend course what my core desired feelings are for my life. And I did this workshop at a time when I was feeling super lost, super unhappy, lethargic, tired, confused. I was falling out of love with the business of photography, but I didn't know what was next for me. I hadn't started working with my life coach. This was just before I started working with a life coach. And I realized that my core desired feelings at that time were freedom in spirit, which I got from Wayne Dyer, because he talks about inspired and in spirit, and abundance. So that's what I craved so much, was freedom, to be inspired to live in spirit full time, and to feel abundant in all things, in money, in love, in happiness. And I just wanted to feel like I was in overflow, not like stretching and grasping and, in lack. So one of the things that you do from that point forward is start to notice where you have your core desired feelings already in your life, even if it's just for a flicker of a moment. Where do you have abundance already in your life? Where do you already have freedom in your life? Where do you already have, where do you feel inspired, or what do you do that makes you feel inspired? And start putting your attention on those things. So it might be just like that you get the freedom to have a bubble bath tonight. Oh, this is freedom. I get to do this. It's something I want to do. I get to do it. I'm so happy for this freedom to have a bubble bath tonight. And you just start, oh yeah, I do have some freedom. I do have some freedom. And when you think of abundance, like I have such an abundance of love from my friends and my family. I'm so grateful for the abundance of love that I have for my family and friends. And when it comes to money, I'm so thankful for the $3 that I do have in my bank account. If it's $3, just be thankful for this $3. I'm so thankful for this penny I just found on the ground. Thank you, universe, for providing me with this penny today. This is awesome. And really starting to shift your focus. Where do I have freedom? Where do I have abundance? Where do I have, when do I feel inspired? For me, I feel inspired when I'm writing, when I'm journaling. So I started doing that every morning because it made me feel inspired. So really recognizing what you do want for your life. I think this is the easiest way I could put this into a nutshell for our last question is be honest with yourself with what you do want for your life. Put aside any oh, that's greedy, or that's selfish, or I should just focus on being a mother, or I should just focus on paying off my debt, or I should just try and force myself to be happy with the life I already have. Don't force anything. Don't trick yourself. Don't do anything. but instead take your focus away from what you don't want and from what's not working and shift it onto what is working and what you do desire to feel like, where you're feeling like that already, because what you focus on expands. What you focus on expands. What you focus on expands. That was one thing that I learned to do. If I could answer that last question for that last person in the most powerful way, I actually think this is more powerful than saying I did step 1, step 2, step 3. It was I shifted my focus away from what I didn't want, and I started focusing it on what I did want. I started focusing it on different areas of my life where I already had it. I started being grateful for that, and it started expanding. Day after day after day, it started expanding. Month after month after month, year after year, it started expanding. And so now I look around and I have more abundance than I've ever had. I have more freedom than I've ever had. And I feel more inspired than I ever have. And I continue to focus on these things and invite them into my life and be grateful for them. So I hope that helps. If any of this was unclear, or maybe I didn't answer the question in the way that you were hoping for, feel free to leave a comment below. I would love to do some more of these FAQs, Q&As, as I feel like there's some questions that maybe I've answered a long time ago and you didn't get a chance to hear, or maybe I've just forgotten that this was really important information to share, or whatever it is. I will never grow tired of repeating things I've shared before, so please go ahead and ask. No question is too small or silly. I welcome any and all questions. However I can serve, let me know. So much love for each of you. Thank you for being live with me today and for watching the replay. If you're watching the replay, thank you for being a part of this group. I love you so much. I wish you so much joy and love and excitement in your life, and I'll talk to you soon.